I was extremely mistaken. I hardly had any admissions happen, and I was wondering what was going on. I was really slow. I probably be going to stagnate and die one day. In my experience, it was not Umesh Malhotra who came to me to sell his product. I remember sitting with Umesh for hours, and I'm really thankful to him, and I will continue to be thankful to what Umesh gave me to my institutions. It's high time that you pat your back and you knock your head and start thinking that this is not how you can run schools anymore. You need people, you need partners, you need people with more intellectual capacity, you need people with concentrated skills, with potential which is only focused to what they are supposed to be doing. You did it your way, it didn't go anywhere. So that's why these guys are here. From the second year, I think they've managed to turn the tables around. Hi, this is Shubha Prasad. I'm the trustee of Vidya, Vaibhav, Hippocampus Public School. Before I could go on with description about what Hippocampus is, I would love to talk about my journey personally. I am from a background where my family runs schools. So all I knew from day one was to understand what happens in institutions. So I'm talking about a totally different generation and how the schools were run then. So I thought it was such an easy task to run a school, and I eventually started becoming very passionate about running schools, and I properly got myself qualified to be a trustee, and here I am in front of you guys being a trustee of Vidya Vaibhav Hippocampus Public School. So when I started the state board, I was successful enough in getting permissions for all the levels, and I started the state board. And the strength grew even more, and I kind of went up to 750 students just before COVID. Now there comes the actual drama in all our lives. For those who are looking forward to sign up Hippocampus, I completely connect, I completely relate to your experiences, trustees. So what happened after COVID? So I was taking a back seat. I have had 750 students. I'm going to only increase students. COVID is only going to be a reason. So I'm going to go to the online, platform, and I'm still going to go and impart education, and I'm going to manage the team, and this is going to be a lot easier. I was extremely mistaken. I hardly had any admissions happen, and I was wondering what was going on. There we had a lot of other schools come up in the vicinity. They also came up not just in the vicinity, but also they started making themselves be very obvious to each and every household. Now, how did they do that? They came up with a lot of marketing strategies. They came up with a lot of handouts, banners, anything under the sun you tag it as or title it down as marketing was something that the school started doing. And I was really slow. I was so laid back to understand that yes, marketing has to be done for an institution, or else we're not going to be anywhere. Probably we're going to stagnate and die one day. Education is something that all of us have had in our lives. You've had, I've had, any one of us have had. What is that extra that the parent is looking forward to? The parent is talking about joy in education. The parent is talking about personality development in education. The parent is talking about language development. The parent here is wanting to understand that my child is not just enough to score great marks, but my child also should stand amongst probably a million to say what he or she is. So what is that extra that your school is doing to make my child look out in the crowd? Oh, now this is such a big question, and innumerable questions in its own self for just me to answer. I need support, I need help. Now, what kind of support and help? Believe me, trustees, there's been a lot of background work, research that I had to go through. Being in a city like Bangalore, I started exploring things. I started exploring organizations, corporates, which can give me that little spark that can make me work, that can make me go back to the strength that I lost and even more. It was not an easy journey though, but eventually Hippocampus came by. It was not Hippocampus in my experience. It was not Umesh Malhotra who came to me to sell his product. Fortunately or unfortunately, I think I did the research, so I was very particular that I take the call, I make the decision. So see, what happens, trustees, is that today you choose something for your your school. Your school I would consider as your baby. You choose something, the idea is that you would always choose the best. As a mother, as a father, as a parent. I went to Hippocampus, Kormangla main office. I remember sitting with Umesh for hours. I think I went at 11 a.m. and I think I walked out of the office at 9:30, 10 p.m. and I wanted to talk to him about my school. I was so lame, you know. Umesh has been running schools by then, running preschools by then, and I was so much about myself and my institution. I was only sitting there talking away to glory about what my school is. And I would appreciate that Umesh was very patient, very enduring, and very calm. So what Umesh did is that he said, hey, come on, let's come up with a new agreement and I will only take care of the academics. And I was like, okay, nice. And I was happy for the fact that there is a lot of decentralization. Now this itself I felt was a lot of decentralization because it was a great move for trustees like us, because we are not the corporate school generation. We have to eventually be that in no time. So pull up our socks and just get there. But for us to even start and update ourselves is going to be a great change. I don't know how many of us have started to think the way that I have started to, but I think it's high time that you pat your back and you knock your head and start thinking that this is not how you can run schools anymore. You need people, you need partners, you need people with more intellectual capacity, you need people with concentrated skills, with potential which is only focused to what they are supposed to be doing. Okay, so now this is what is education, right? So I had a Hippocampus come by and everything went very smooth. The whole idea of partnering is to make things better. Now how is that going to happen even without your involvement? You sign few papers and you're like, I'm done, you take over it. No, it doesn't work that way, right? So these guys have always done their best, but you have to understand their plight when they come into a situation. They're open to the situation. You know, running a business yourself in terms of a school itself is so tough today. On top of it, these guys go to different nook and corners of the country. At least now they're still in the country. I don't know when Umesh will plan to move abroad. So when they go to different places, you know, they're different trustees, the mindsets, the audience, the children, the expectations, the campus itself, you know. So it's such a challenge, and they actually take up these challenges. It's important for the trustees who sign up with Hippocampus to understand what they are going through. So it's like the time, the healer, it's like the compatibility, it's like the acclimatization that happens. You need to give that time, you know. It's not like a switch on, switch off button that, okay, they're in and then I'm out and it's done. Let me tell you, me as a personality, I'm very focused and I want things in a certain way. I have handled my school for 17 long years, and you can imagine what as a trustee I must have been in the school. So I have signed in a totally different entity and he comes in with a totally different mindset. So it's really hard for you to sink in the fact that you've actually signed and you have people coming into your school. They walk into your space, they sit, they manage things for you and things like that, but they don't do it the way that you would want to. But that's the fact, right? You did it your way, it didn't go anywhere. So that's why these guys are here, to make sure that it goes beyond what you have always thought of. And finally, that happened from the second year. I think they've managed to turn the tables around. The staffing that they have are really good with what they have to do. The way they manage relationships with the trustees and of course the parents and students. You know, there'll be a point where you will start forgetting whose parent this lady is or whose father this particular man is. You know, that is the extent of involvement these guys have. You don't need to get into anything and start sorting things out. So that's where I am today. I am definitely, it all sounds like the cherry on the cake. Yes, the fact is that I am there, I'm sitting there. And one great news that I have today for myself is that we've gone into a much stronger agreement wherein you know, they take the complete understanding and control over the school in all aspects, because I trust them so much so that it's important for me to have them involved in every aspect possible of the school. So this is where I am today, signing in with a stronger agreement with them, and I'm really happy to do this. And for those who are probably thinking about getting in Hippocampus, all the best, and this is definitely going to be a right call for you guys, and please go ahead. Thank you so much.